Welcome everyone to the 2021 San Francisco Public Works Black History Month celebration. Althea and I are the co-chairs of this year's committee, and we will be in conversation with Commissioner Sophie Maxwell.
Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. Commissioner Sophie Maxwell is the president of the Public Utilities Commission. She served 3 terms on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, representing San Francisco's District 10. During her tenure, Commissioner Maxwell worked for more equitable distribution of public resources, increasing economic development opportunities for all San Franciscans, and nurturing and empowering our city's most vulnerable residents. Commissioner Maxwell continues to advocate for environmental justice, clean energy, and children's health and educational programs. She is quoted as saying, "All San Franciscans are a source of true pride, and they represent the most important resource for our city's future." So without further ado, we welcome Commissioner Maxwell.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am so honored to be here with all you beautiful people. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Maxwell. Althea and I would like to thank you for being a part of this year's San Francisco Public Works Black History Month celebration and for speaking with us today.
My pleasure.
Given that the theme of this year's Black History Month celebration is the Black family, please share with us one of your first memories you have of celebrating Black History Month with your family.
Well, my mother was an amazing woman, Enola D. Maxwell. She came from Louisiana. She started here as a housekeeper, and then she got a job as working for the post office. And then she came home one day and she said, I want to be a Presbyterian minister. And of course, we all looked at her and we said, okay, Mom, okay, you go for it. Well, she became the first Presbyterian female Black woman minister in San Francisco, and she had a church. It was the Olivet Presbyterian Church. And so it was during the early 70s and late 60s and early 70s. And so certainly civil rights was big. And so my first memory, and my mother was also an activist, was going to a demonstration. We went to demonstrations all the time. That was our Black history all the time. And it was wonderful because, I was a part of integrating yellow cab. I mean, we don't even think about it today. Part of integrating public schools in San Francisco. So that is my first memory. Oh, and there's a school named after my mother right now on Potrero Hill, Enola D. Maxwell.
Wow, that is awesome. Your mother came from Louisiana, the
Yes.
best place on earth, the best food. I'm kind of biased because I was raised, my family comes from Louisiana. So the food, hands down, is awesome.
Yes.
Next question, Commissioner Maxwell. Congratulations for being the first African-American woman to be president of the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission.
Woo. Thank you.
So what does racial equity, equitable distributions of public resources, and environmental justice mean to you? And how do you apply those definitions to the work that you do and the people you serve?
Well, that is the fulfillment of democracy to me. That is what this country is all about. That's what it means. And the fulfillment of democracy. And so when I look at anything, and especially the PUC and the resources, I look at it through that lens of equity. I look at it through the ends of building a strong middle class with good paying jobs and well-paying jobs and educating our children. So that's the lens. I look at every department through that lens. I look at all the contracts through that lens. I ask the questions that I ask through that lens, because that to me is the true fulfillment of the promise of democracy.
Commissioner Maxwell, one of the recent visible changes in the communities that you have served and continue to serve was the placement of the last structural beam for the new Southeast Community Center at 1550 Evans Avenue. The construction of this building was made possible by the partnership between the SFPUC, Bayview's Hunters Point community, and Panko Builders. Construction is scheduled to be completed in 2022. You said, quote, "I am looking forward to the day when the building is completed and its doors are thrown open to the community. If Bayview community advocates known as the Big Six, Dr. Espinola Jackson, Harold Madison, Eloise Westbrook, Ethel Garlington, Shirley Jones, and Alex Pitcher who were instrumental in the development of the original center were here today, what do you think they'd say about the new building and its role in continuing to bring needed resources to the community through workforce, childcare, and educational opportunities?"
Well, I think they would be certainly happy about the building and the fact that it's still there and still going on. But more importantly, they would look at the opportunity for this to be a hub of innovation and creativity as far as power, water, and sewage are concerned. I think we have to look at our urban environment and understand that it's just going to become more urban. And we have an opportunity in the Bay Area to really bring about some innovative and creative ideas. We have some of the best and highest institutions of learning in the country right here in the Bayview, down the street. So there's no reason why the people who live here, the children who are here now and who are coming later, cannot be a part of that amazing future and story.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. The San Francisco in particular, we have some of the most innovative and creative just ideas, resources, things that we can incorporate into making the city just more equitable, more inclusive, more diverse. So thank you, Commissioner Maxwell. So our next question, what role do you believe the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission can or should play in helping the city achieve a higher level of racial equity, equitable distribution of public resources, and environmental justice?
We have to be the model. We hire I think our workforce is over 2,000 people. We have a budget of way over $1 billion. We're an enterprise department. That means money is coming in. We have an opportunity and an obligation to do more, much more than maybe a lot of other people. And you may make a mistake. Things may not be the right program, may not be the right way, but as long as you realize that that needs to be your priority, you will continue and find the right balance. I look at the California PUC. The California PUC has an environmental and a social justice plan. This is a California PUC. They believe that they should be about building middle class. They believe that they should be about ensuring that those who have been left behind get an opportunity. And certainly if the California PUC feels like that, then we, as the San Francisco PUC, and we call ourselves and pretend that we're so progressive, then maybe we ought to take off the pretend hat and really be that.
Commissioner Maxwell, how can we as a community of city employees and residents of San Francisco work with you to actualize that vision?
Well, first of all, I keep talking about the promise of democracy. Our citizenship was fought for. Frederick Douglass fought for our citizenship as African Americans. We were not considered that. And he had a relationship with President Lincoln. And that's how February became the month, because Lincoln was born on the 12th of February, and Frederick Douglass celebrated his birthday on the 14th of February, because his mother used to say, "You are my Valentine." And so he celebrated his birthday at that time. So I talk about the promise of democracy. We have to make it happen. And if I look at these young people with Black Lives Matter, they changed the talk. They changed everything. Who would have ever thought that in front of Trump Tower, Black Lives Matter Street, come on, Boulevard, they changed it. And we can continue to change. In fact, when you look at the last presidential election, who did they wait for? They waited for Philadelphia, Philly, okay? The inner city. They waited for Detroit, Michigan, the inner city. They waited for Georgia, Atlanta. Who do you think saved democracy? And who do we save it for? So we have got to live like we are free. We've got to bring people to the table, which we have, and continue to do that. And if you work for the city, be able to walk into those jobs and those opportunities that are going to be there. When we're fighting to make sure that when we open the door of a department, that it looks like the people that live here and not the people that live in Contra Costa County, that you are ready to take on those responsibilities and that you are happy to take on that responsibilities. Cities should be about building middle class, not importing them.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxwell. Thank you. What would you tell the youngsters as our elder, the ones who are the Black Lives Matter, the ones who are fighting for justice and are new to it? They haven't been around years and years, and maybe some of them are frustrated. Some of them feel that we haven't come that far, which we have came that far. What advice would you give to those who are new to this struggle, new to this fight? What encouragement would you give to them?
Well, first of all, I would thank them. I would thank them for their energy and for their commitment to certainly African Americans, but also to this country. And I would also remind them that they didn't go to Africa and get us and say, oh, well, we were throwaway people. Oh, they're going to be president one day. We were throwaway people. We changed that plan. And you can change your destiny and your plan. And yes, it does take work. And yes, you do get tired. But we all got tired. But look who came behind us. So you got to keep going. You got to keep laughing and having fun and having dreams about your life and falling in love and falling out of love. You got to do it all at the same time. And that gives you the energy. That makes you realize that love is so important. And if you do it in love, then it's a part of who and what you are. That's the lens in which you will look at life. And you have a purpose and you have a value. And may I also say that you determine what success is. Your success can be different from mine. I get up in the morning and I'm out at the lake at 6 o'clock and I'm thinking, yes, and I can't wait to ride on my bicycle tomorrow morning at 5:30 morning. I think, yes, that's my success. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me do all the things that I do.
What would you like your future in San Francisco for generations to come to read about you or to write about you in their history books? How would you tell your story?
Well, I would say that I've come from a long line of strong and amazing women. My mother was an amazing woman. She was about 5'4", 100 pounds, but she was strong and mighty and smart. She was smart academically. She was smart in every way that you could imagine. And that's where I come from. And my grandmother taught herself how to read. And she came here first, and then she sent for my mother. Strong, amazing women who did not want to sit in the back of the bus, were not going to sit on the back of their bus, and either were their children. So they came somewhere where they thought it would be different. And that's where I've come from. And I came from women who believed that love was their shield. That when you love, you don't have to, and first of all, it helps you to stay beautiful because, when you getting mad and ugly, and acting ugly, then it has consequences. So they were amazing women in that way. So I want people to know that I came from those people and that I loved. And I tried to do things in love for my people, but I know that what's best for my people is best for everyone. And if there are any superior people on the face of this earth, I am a part of that group. But I know that when you do for one, you do for all. If we are all raised up, if we are all being able to do the best that we can, the highest level of achievement that we want, that it raises everybody. It raises the entire country. And if Black people in San Francisco are doing well, more will come. More will come. But they're not going to come to a place that they don't feel wants them. So we have to make sure that San Francisco is a place that wants people of all diversities. We talk about diversity. It's more in food than people. And so we have to be very, very strategic about what we do and understand that we are important and necessary for not only San Francisco, but for this country.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxwell. You have echoed the word love multiple times, and it just brings me back to Martin Luther King's quote that says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Therefore, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love. All we need is love can do that." So,
yes, it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. It's quiet. It's like a drop of water that's quietly going through your tub, okay? And putting leaks. It's quiet and it's powerful.
Wow. Awesome.
I was going to ask, do you have any other wisdom that you'd like to share with us in this month?
We are an amazing people. We have a lineage that goes back to the beginning of time. All of that is within us. All the things that we are made for this life and for this world. That's why we can breathe the air and we can drink the water. We're made for this life. And everything we need is within us and outside. The tools are there to make us everything we need to be, but we are made for this life. Our skin is made for the sun. Our hair is made for the wind, and our lips are made like pillows to kiss and love and talk with. We're made for this.
Poetic words, truer words that have never been said or felt. So I thank you for sharing the love that you have today with us, Commissioner Maxwell. So thank you, Commissioner Maxwell, for being in conversation with the San Francisco Public Works co-chairs of the Black History Month Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.